Star Trek and Star Wars are two incredible franchises that have had quite a long-lasting legacy, and for a while there, a lot of people thought that this stuff would go on forever. But given a lot of the stuff that's been released in the past few years, a lot of hopes have been dashed between Star Trek Discovery, the first two seasons of Picard, and then over there at Disney, the train wreck that has become Star Wars. It's become a little bit of a question of whether or not these franchises would survive. From the reimagining of Star Trek in 2009 to the ripoff in Into Darkness with all the lines and quotes from The Wrath of Khan, and of course its ripoff of scenes from The Search for Spock from its arrival at Space Dock, to of course its destruction in the beginning of Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek, theatrical-wise, has definitely had a rough ride, and then when Discovery came along, it made it even more difficult for fans to deal with. On the Star Wars side of things, it wasn't that much better either. From the murder of Han Solo by his own son, to the disrespect shown Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker, Star Wars has been nothing but a problem, and fans are tired of that as well. But before all that began, there was a big question that was on everyone's mind, and I believe the question started around the 70s. Which one was better, Star Trek or Star Wars? The war between these two franchises would drive so many crazy. Which one is better? Star Wars is better. Star Trek is better. Fights on the playground over it. When the truth is that they had nothing in common with each other except the fact that they were in space. But finally, I believe we can put this long-awaited question, this long dragged-out question, we can finally get an answer to it. Now, the article that I'm about to refer to comes from Bounding Into the Comic. Ahsoka has abysmal viewership. One of the worst Star Wars Disney Plus premieres since The Mandalorian Season 1. The newly released Ahsoka series reportedly had one of the worst Disney Plus premieres for Star Wars since The Mandalorian Season 1. Samba TV recently shared their data claiming that only 1.2 million U.S. households tuned into Ahsoka in its first 6 days since release. The data analyst group reported on X that the latest news of Star Wars series Ahsoka finally hit screens with 1.2 million U.S. households watching over its first 6 days. This is similar to the viewership of Andor premiere season and slightly lower than the Mandalorian third season premiere over its first 6 days. Now, if you base the information I just shared with you and the continuous fall of support that Star Wars has been getting since Disney purchased the property, and Lucasfilm has been dying off painfully because of Disney, it's pretty much a given that Star Trek has won this battle. When you consider that people were turning away because of Discovery and Picard Season 1 and 2, but when Season 3 came along, it turned things around in a very big way. Now, I know over on Disney side of it, Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 were great, but once they hit 3, it went off the reservation in such a bad way. And since then, it's been continuously crashing. The Kenobi story, the book of Boba Fett, and I've heard some people say it was good, but for the most part, I've heard that's bad. I only got past 2 episodes on Boba Fett. And Andor, Disney's done so much damage to Star Wars that even though a lot of people who say they've enjoyed Andor, Disney's Star Wars is just damaged so badly, no one cares anymore. Clearly, the Star Wars brand is in a big decline in one of the factors why Ahsoka premiered viewership was low. Another reason is the quality of The Mandalorian season 3 was not up to snuff of many viewers. The third season had some of the worst rated episodes for the entire series. I don't need DB, excuse me, to tell me how bad season 3 was. It sucked. It really was. Mandalorian, I mean, he had to be rescued so many times it was pathetic. Similar to The Last Jedi and Solo, the Star Wars story, viewers are rejecting Ahsoka based on how poorly they viewed The Mandalorian. I watched the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka, and not only was it boring, but Ahsoka herself really had the bulk of the cast had no emotion, and they pulled another Kenobi bit right there where it's okay to get stabbed by a lightsaber and be in the next episode. Now, I love this part right here. It's also likely that Ahsoka is not as popular as many Star Wars fans like to think. The characters originated in a much panned animated film, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. She should go on into feature in the Clone Wars animated series, but the series premiere allowed Anakin Skywalker's adventures from there. She would cameo in the Star Wars Rebels, The Mandalorian, and the Book of Boba Fett. The series also has been heavily promoted as being a soft reboot of Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire trilogy, which created David Filoni, replacing Luke Skywalker with Ahsoka and his various Star Wars rebel characters. Now, Strange New Worlds definitely is putting an interesting spin on Star Trek, and I've already expressed my feelings about the canon violations in that series, but Star Trek itself seems to be developing a stronger lifespan than Star Wars. Star Wars seems to be on life support, while Star Trek is living long and prospering. So tell me what you think about this. Do you think Star Wars is dead? You think Star Trek in its current state is in a better state, a better frame of mind than what we've got over there at Disney? Drop your comments below, my friends. I want to hear. Tell me what you think about this. And until the next time, God bless.